Just you stay with that moment. Even though he jumped me from behind.
Even though he jumped me from behind.
I wasn't expecting it.
I wasn't expecting it.
It was a shock.
It was a shock.
I was on my own.
I was on my own,
Yeah,
yes. I was on my own, yes.
And I didn't know what to do.
I didn't know what to do.
I don't believe in fighting.
Don't believe in fighting. And nothing happened as well.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. I got taken to hospital.
Yeah.
And nothing seemed to happen after
Let's
that.
just stay with the moment of he jumped me. Even though he jumped me.
Even though he jumped me.
From behind.
From behind.
And the first I knew.
And the first I knew.
Was.
I was on the floor.
I was on the floor.
And my nose bleeding.
Yeah. And that was then.
And that was then.
And this is now.
And this is now.
Yeah. Even though he jumped me from behind.
Even though he jumped me from behind.
I was on the floor.
I was on the floor.
My nose bleeding.
My nose bleeding.
Blood.
Blood.
Blood on the floor.
Blood on the floor.
That was then.
That was then.
This is now.
This is now.
Even though I was powerless in that moment.
Even though I was powerless in that moment.
He jumped me from behind.
He jumped me from behind.
There was nothing I could do.
Nothing I could do.
That was then.
That was then.
This is now.
This is now.
He jumped me.
He jumped me.
From behind.
From behind.
I was on the floor.
I was on the floor.
Blood.
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 Bleeding.
Bleeding.
He jumped me.
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 Just take a breath. Just think of that moment. He jumped you. With blood.
And he's kicking me in the head. I can still feel the kicks.
Right.
Actually. Yeah.
Even though I can feel the kicks.
Even though I can still feel the kicks.
He's kicking me in the head.
He's kicking me in the head.
I can feel the kicks.
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 And I'm powerless.
And I'm powerless.
There's nothing I can do.
There's nothing I can do, and nothing I want to do.
Nothing I want to do.
No.
Yeah. There's nothing I can do.
And nothing I can do.
Nothing I want to do.
Nothing I want to do.
I've just got to lie here.
I've just got to lie here.
While he kicks me in the head.
While he kicks me in the head.
I can feel it.
I can feel it.
Yeah. And I accept myself.
And I accept myself.
Even though I was powerless.
Even though I was powerless.
And I didn't do anything.
And I didn't do anything.
And I didn't want to do anything.
And I didn't want to do anything.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
Even though I just lay there.
Even though I just lay there.
Bleeding.
Bleeding.
And he kicked me in the head.
And he kicked me in the head.
He kicked me in the head.
He kicked me in the head.
He just kept kicking.
He just kept kicking.
I can still feel it.
I can still feel it.
Yeah. What's there? Something coming there?
I'm just the sense of injustice in it.
Yeah.
And just how ridiculous it is.
It's right. It's wrong.
It's
wrong.
It's wrong. Yeah.
Just move around the point. It's just plain wrong.
It's just plain wrong.
Yeah. It's wrong what he did.
It's wrong what he did.
It's wrong.
It's wrong.
And it's not fair.
And it's not fair.
That bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fair. And the teachers didn't do anything as well.
Nobody protected me.
Nobody protected me.
Nobody looked after me.
Nobody looked after me.
Nobody made it right.
Nobody made it right.
It was wrong.
It was wrong.
It was wrong and it happened.
It was wrong and it happened.
And it shouldn't have happened.
It shouldn't have happened.
It should have been stopped.
It should have been stopped.
I should have been protected.
I should have been protected.
Yeah. It happened.
It happened.
It happened.
It happened.
What's coming now?
It's just, this is the side that's
yeah, you're tapping
there.
on that side now. Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite sore.
Yeah. It happened.
It happened.
He kicked me in the head.
It kicked me in the head.
Were you scared?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
I was scared.
I was scared.
I was scared. In that moment, I was scared.
And just the sadness of it as well, that it happened.
I'm sad that it happened.
I'm sad that it happened.
And in that moment,
And in that moment,
I was scared.
I was scared.
I wasn't sad then.
I wasn't sad then.
Didn't have time to be sad then.
No, I didn't have time to be sad then.
I was scared.
I was scared.
In fact, I was more than scared.
I was more than scared.
Were you more than scared?
I was, yeah.
Yeah. What were you then? What's the word?
terrified and in shock as well.
I was terrified.
Yeah, I was terrified.
The shock.
The shock.
I'm terrified.
Terrified.
Terrified. Kicked me in the head.
He kicked me in the head.
I was terrified.
I was terrified.
Of course I was terrified.
Of course I was
Was he
terrified.
bigger than you?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
bigger than me.
he was bigger than me.
He took me by surprise.
Took me by surprise. And I was in my new blazer as well.
My new blazer.
Yeah, my mum would have me.
He
Yeah.
kicked me in the head.
He kicked me in the head.
I fell to the ground.
I fell to the
In
ground.
my new
In my new
blazer.
blazer.
I was terrified.
I was terrified.
Of course I was terrified. I was only... How old were you?
Let me think. 11.
I was
I was
only
11. Yeah. Yeah.
I was only 11.
I was only 11.
And he was bigger than me.
And he was bigger than me.
Was he older than you?
Um,
Or we're just bigger
probably.
than
I was
Yeah.
the youngest in the year, I think. So he probably was
you?
older.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
bigger than me.
Bigger than me.
And I was terrified.
And I was terrified.
Of course I was
Of
terrified.
course I was terrified.
Anybody would be.
Anybody would be.
What's going to you now? Just pause a moment. Just go through that. He jumped.
He jumped me.
He jumped you.
He's kicking me in the head.
Can you still feel it?